John, just how do you feel the first few days of camp have gone here?
Man, I feel good. Shoot, looking, everybody's flying around. Everybody's excited to be here. So shoot, I mean, really just another day. Another day to get better with these guys, and great group of guys to show up and work with every day.
Can obviously this team has made a lot of additions this offseason, free agency, the draft. Can you feel kind of an elevated level of competition out there at all?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you talk about some of the rookies we brought in. You talk about Solomon Thomas, who, I mean, just takes our defensive tackle room to another level with his energy, with his strain, his effort. I mean, you talk about some guys who played a lot of football, and then some young guys that we could bring along and just help get better and mold into a New York Jet at the end of the day. And we're all competing for the same thing, so it makes no difference. I mean, competition isn't a bad thing in a sense.
Your coach was just saying about how the defensive line room is so deep now that there's going to be some good players that wind up getting cut at the end of camp. Like, what would you say the talent level of that room is right now? And how nice is it to have so much depth in that way?
I mean, everybody's been through, kind of the same thing where you get to the middle of the season and guys start getting banged up, and it's like, well, shoot, you don't know who's going to be out there the next week. Well, we got a room full of guys who, you don't miss a beat when the next person steps up, and that's what you want out of a defensive line room in any position. So that's a good thing, and that's a sad part about the game is guys do get cut, and I was once cut and it ended up working out for me. So like I tell these guys here, man, it doesn't matter. You're out here and you're performing, you're putting your best foot forward to make yourself better, and then what happens happens. You can't control everything.
How do you feel about the opportunity this year that the coaches have talked about that maybe on third down you can go inside?
Oh man, I mean, shoot, I enjoy playing inside. I'll play whatever they tell me to play at the end of the day. But I mean, you talk about that opportunity to rush against some guards, and I mean, just the defense we run and the freedom that those guys have. Man, I mean, it's great. And defensive end, obviously had the best year of my career there also. But just the movement around, and you see some of the best players in football who do that, and they play at a high level, and they do great things. So, again, I'm just trying to do the same thing those guys have done and just help this team win. Whatever they tell me to play, I play. I mean, D end, D tackle, nose, linebacker, safety, corner, quarterback, running back, receiver.
Being around Aaron Donald for a couple of years, is there anything just from seeing him on a daily basis that you could use?
I mean, you kind of turn on some of my three technique rushes, and you see some of that in there. And I'm not gonna say I'm Aaron Donald in any sense, but you sit around the guy long enough, you start to pick up on things that he does. So the way he does some of his power moves, his stutter moves as a three tech, I try to emulate that. And you talk about the best three tech in the game, and everybody wants to be like that. So what an opportunity I had to sit there and watch him and Michael Brockers and Ndamukong Suh there. And then I'm working with Sheldon Rankins, and literally he's teaching me stuff today. As I'm going back to three tech after not being there for almost a year. So it's a learning process for me. But playing with Solly, who played with Eric and Buck, and Solly's played some great football, and then obviously Quentin and Shep, like Tanzel teaches me something every day. Me and Tanzel, so we watch film together. At the end of the day, and he coaches me up on some of the stuff and helps me out. So I can't say enough good things about those guys. I learn something new every day.
John, there were some great additions made to the defense within the draft as well as the offseason. What do you think the ceiling for the D is? Do you guys have a goal of trying to be maybe a top 10?
Oh, I mean, we all say, I mean, the sky is the limit for us, and we're as good as the defensive line goes, and we put that on our shoulders, and we preach that every day, and we practice that. We practice like that. So, whatever happens, happens, but it's on the defensive line, and we take that. I mean, it is what it is, So we got Carl, me, Q, Sheldon. I mean, just look at the guys we have in the room. If we can't stop the run, if we can't get after the passer, then that's on us. And, the team goes as we goes. And Coach Salo will say that, Brick will say that, Coach Whitecott, everybody will say that, and we live that.
What's it like having
the system familiarity? What does Solomon bring to the table for you guys?
I mean, I'm a guy who's a mirror image of what they want, and a guy who we all want to be like in terms of effort and relentlessness. Like, he brings that to the table every day, and I watch him and I talk to him and like, man, like, where do you get it from? Like, I mean, he's just a great example of a guy on and off the field. A great guy to sit there and you talk to and you learn stuff from off the field, and then you get on the field and it's like, well, what'd you do here? And a guy who shares all this knowledge and I mean, a great guy to have in the room, you know. Again, I think the most he brings is the effort and the relentlessness for us because, you know, it's just a different level. You watch him and, you know, Coach says all the time, big guys running show up on tape, and any play he's in, you watch, you'll see him.
What's it been like having Karl back out there, and what do you see from him in his return from, you know, a pretty major injury?
Shoot, I mean, Karl looks no different, honestly. Like, Karl is strong, he's fast, he's a hell of a player. So, shoot, he's a guy that makes everybody better. And just having him out there, and then, you know, I don't want to change the subject, but Vinny also, you know, having him back. I mean, you talk about two guys who helped us last year off the field, you know, and they weren't playing, but, you know, they're coaching us up. They're watching film with us. They're breaking down the offensive line. And then they come here and, you know, it's the same thing, but they're playing now. So now they're able to tell you, like, oh, man, your chop club was wrong, your spin, or whatever it may be, whatever move it is. Oh, you stepped wrong in a run game. Like, those are, you know, key notes that, you know, you need as a young guy, and me included, you know, like, they talk to me about it all the time. Karl's played a lot of football. His pass rush very well. I mean, so some of the power stuff that he does, like, I don't always understand. And, you know, talking to him and seeing how he does and how he, you know, may stab, lift somebody or shot put him, whatever it may be, like, that stuff is important for me as a player. And then you got Mike and Jermaine out here learning from these guys, and room full of young guys who are learning from him. So a great addition.
I know the pads haven't come on yet, but what's been your impression of the offensive line?
Oh,
competing against them?
I mean, you know, obviously Fan isn't at practice, but, you know, I mean, complete faith in all those guys and the guys who are in Fan's place. But, shoot, you talk about, Makai's back and AVT switch sides, and you bring in Lakin and Connor's, you know, great centers. So, I mean, all in all, like, they look completely different, and they all work hard this offseason. Pads and no pads, man, you know, they're bringing it every day, and so are we. So, I mean, you know, they say iron sharpens iron. Like, we're out here working, and, you know, they want to have the best offensive line in the NFL. We want to have the best defensive line in the NFL. So it works hand in hand.